This week, I'll lead you through a gentle Hatha Yoga practice. This is a full body practice, but we're going to have a little bit of extra focus on legs and feet. Let's get started. For this week's practice, a couple of blocks might be nice, props if you have them around and if you usually use blocks in your practice, but other than that, we don't need any props today. So when you are ready, just bring yourself into a seat. We're going to start in a seated pose today. We're going to stay here a little while, so if you want to have anything like a block to sit on, you could bring some props under the pelvis so you can find a comfortable seat. And then you bring your hands on your knees or on your lap. You might soften your gaze or close your eyes and give yourself a few just slightly deeper breaths in and out. Allow your shoulders to drop down away from the ears. And focus on sending your breaths down towards the bottom of the ribs. Maybe all the way down towards the belly. If you start to notice tension in your shoulders or in your neck, you could give your shoulders a few gentle rolls. You could turn your head from side to side. And then find back into that gentle stillness where you can observe your breath. Just give yourself a few more breaths here before we start to move. Finding that rhythm in your own breath. Allowing your rhythm to guide your movements, guide your poses. As we go through the practice today, let yourself practice with kindness and respect towards yourself. So if there are any movements or poses that hurt, that don't feel right in your body today, then allow yourself to modify, allow yourself to skip those poses so that you feel safe in your practice, in your body today. And then if you have your eyes closed, you might gently open your eyes. Once roll your shoulders up and down. And then with your next in-breath, lengthen your both arms up overhead. And as you exhale, bring right hand on the mat and bend over to the right. So left arm reaching over, finding a gentle side bend. Allow your both buttocks to sink down. Take another breath or two in and out here. You could send your breath towards that left side body. And then with your next in-breath, reach back up. And exhale, release your left hand, left arm down. We'll do the same to the other side. As you inhale, lengthen both arms up. So you're really trying to reach your back long as well. Exhale, bring left hand on the mat. And continue bending over to the left. So now right arm leaning over. And breathing here again. Let your both buttocks sink down. Breathe towards that right side body. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, reach back up and exhale, release the right hand down. You could roll the shoulders again. And then from your seat, bring yourself onto all fours. Finding your way onto hands and knees, and you can choose to have your toes tucked under, or you can release your toes, your feet. Tucking the toes under might help us get in touch with our feet a bit more. So if that feels okay, you could try that. And we'll do a few cat-cow movements here. So with your next exhalation, round your spine up towards the ceiling. Stay there as you breathe in, opening the backside even more. As you exhale, open your chest, find that gentle cow pose. So gentle back bend, and then inhale, stay in that back bend. Same again, as you breathe out, round your back. You can bring your chin towards the chest. Inhale in that cat shape. And as you exhale, open your chest. You can lift your tailbone up. Maybe look forward and inhale towards the chest. 2 more rounds with your own breath. Exhaling as you move. And then inhale, staying in that rounded shape. Exhaling, moving into your back bend. And again, inhaling, staying in that cow shape, opening through the front. 1 more time with your exhalation, round your spine. You can tuck the tail under. And then with the next exhalation, 1 more back bend, opening through the chest. Inhale there. And then bring yourself to center. Next, from all fours, we're going to step the right foot forward, leave the left knee down, and just lean the pelvis down and forward. Now you could have hands on the mat, or if you have blocks there, you could bring blocks under the hands. That might give you a bit more room to open the chest. Your right hip could rotate open. So I'm suggesting both hands on the inside of that right foot, and then gently pull your chest forward. So it's a gecko, it's a low lunge, opening across the chest, finding maybe a bit more opening along the front line, some back bending, so keep that space between your shoulder blades engaged. And breathe. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, lift the pelvis up. Bring both knees on the mat. And now round your back into child's pose. If you have blocks there, you could leave hands onto blocks. Lean head down to mat between the arms. Or it might be that your hands are on the mat. You could even bring elbows onto the mat if that feels good. And allow your spine to round gently. You could send your breaths all the way down towards the lower back. Let the hips soften. Try to keep tops of the shoulders soft. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, bring yourself back onto hands and knees. And then we're going to step the left foot forward. So you could have blocks under hands. You could have your hands all the way down on the mat. And again, I'm suggesting to bring the left foot a bit further out to the side. Maybe even rotate the hip, open slightly if that feels good. And then opening through the front. So gently drawing your chest forward. Allow your neck to release. Trying to draw the shoulders away from the ears. So neck has space. And just notice how you feel at the front of the right leg, hip, How you feel along the spine. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, lift your pelvis slightly higher up. Bring your both knees on the mat. Now you could put your blocks aside, ground your hands onto the mat. We're going to lift into downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under and then lift your pelvis up and find your downward facing dog. It could be hands a bit wider apart. You can adjust where your feet are as well. Maybe bending the knees slightly so you have space to reach the pelvis up and back away from the hands. Take a couple of breaths here in and out. Finding that lengthening through the spine, that opening at the backs of the legs. It might be that your heels come down on the mat, but it's also very fine if they don't. It could be a big opening through the whole back line of the legs. Keep your feet active here. Take another breath in and out. And then we're going to walk the hands and feet together. So you might walk your feet forward. You might walk your hands towards the feet. And then round your back into a full forward bend. You can bend your knees if you want. Hands could be resting down on the mat, or you could bring your hands onto your ankles, onto your feet. Actively lifting up through the backs of the legs, folding the upper body down and forward. Could be a big, big stretch, getting through the whole back line. Take another breath in and out. And then as you exhale, bend the knees quite deeply. And as you inhale, reach your head, reach your arms up towards the ceiling, opening the chest. Exhale, release your hands and arms down. You could roll the shoulders again. And then we're going to step into triangle pose. So we're going to leave the left foot at the top of the mat. Step your right foot a bit further back so that you can turn your chest to the long side of the mat. And you could have some blocks there close to the left foot. First, finding a place where you feel grounded on 2 feet. The back foot could be slightly turned in. So looking after that front leg, the knee, the toes going in the same direction. From here, we're going to inhale, reach the arms out. As you exhale, reach your left hand kind of over that left foot. And then exhale, start to fold over that left leg. So kind of hinging from the hips. And it could be that you bring your left hand onto the shin, onto the ankle. You might even reach hand down towards the mat. Or if you have blocks there, you could bring a block under the left hand. Get a bit more support through the arms. Right arm can reach up, or bring your right arm behind the back and looking for a long line from head to your tail. The front knee can be bent or extended. And if your neck gets tense looking up, you can always turn your gaze down. That might soften the neck and also the shoulders. Grounding down through both feet. At the same time, lifting up through the arches of the feet. Feel inner thighs are engaged. Almost like inner thighs want to reach towards each other. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, reach up through the right arm and lift yourself all the way up to standing. Now you might slide your feet a bit further away from each other. We go into warrior two. We're going to bend the front knee, so bend the left knee. Keep arms reaching out. And then turn your palms up towards the ceiling, allowing your shoulders to roll down. And breathing here. Staying in touch with your feet. Again, we are grounding down at the same time, lifting up through the arches of the feet. Both buttocks active. Take another breath in and out. Reverse warrior. Inhale, reach your left arm up. Bring right arm behind the back. And then exhale, lean into a side bend over that right leg. Here, you might look up. You might also turn your gaze down towards the right foot. Keep shoulders soft, away from the ears. And feel that support growing from your feet, through your inner thighs, through the buttocks, to the pelvis, and all the way into the spine. Left knee reaching forward while upper body reaching back. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, lift yourself all the way up. You can extend your legs. And we're going to windmill our hands down to frame the left foot. Turn your right heel up. And we're going to go back into downward facing dog. So step your both feet back. And again, reaching the pelvis away from the hands. Head can drop down. You might even shake the head a bit from side to side. Or you can shimmy the pelvis a bit from side to side if you want to move through the hips. Take another breath in and out again. Heels might come down, heels might be off the mat. And then we're going to go into those triangles and warriors on the other side. Now we're going to step the right foot forward to our hands. And then we're going to go into that triangle from here. So now turn your left foot onto the mat. Find a good distance between your feet for triangle pose. You could have a block there ready for your right hand. And then we're going to inhale, start to reach the left arm up. And now we're turning to the other long side of the mat. And right leg could be extended or bent. Left arm could keep reaching up, or you could bring that left arm behind the back. Imagine you're now trying to lift yourself away from the mat. It's the first triangle where we're kind of going down. Now we're lifting up, maybe finding some new sensations in this triangle pose. You might look up. You might also turn your gaze down towards the mat. And breathe. Both feet pressing down, lifting that support up through the inner thighs. Take one more breath here. You can start to reach that left arm up again. And then as you inhale, lift yourself all the way up. And you might slide your feet wider apart, further away from each other. Warrior two. So now turn your palms up towards the ceiling. So you're rotating your both arms from the shoulders. And exhale, bend the right knee. Just check, you can still see the right big toe from behind the knee. And breathe here a couple of times. You can focus on leading weight onto that left foot. So you feel you're at the center. You're not just leaning onto the right foot, but the left leg takes half of the weight as well. And then as you inhale, reach right arm up, bring left arm behind the back. And exhale, start to tilt, lean over the left leg into that reverse warrior. And here you might look down towards the left foot if that feels better. Or you might look up towards the ceiling. And right knee reaching forward, upper body reaching back. Breathing. The breath might be more shallow here, that's very fine. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, lift yourself up. You can extend the legs. And we're going to windmill the arms again. We're going to bring hands down, turn the left heel up, and then we're going to step into downward facing dog. Just to breathe, downward dog. Reaching pelvis away from the hands. And then exhale, bring both knees onto the mat. And we'll go into thread the needle pose. I'm suggesting that we would now extend the right leg out to the right side of the mat. Maybe just rock back and forth a couple of times so you find a place where you feel happy for that right leg to be out on the side. And if it's really painful in the right leg, you can always keep both knees on the mat as we go into thread the needle. Now leave your right hand on the mat. And as you inhale, reach left arm up. So you're twisting out to the left. As you exhale, slide your left arm onto the mat. So that you can bring the left shoulder, side of the head on the mat. And if it feels okay, reach your right arm behind the back, behind the pelvis. An active twist. Think about rolling that right shoulder back, actively twisting out to the right. So actively turning your chest out to the right. And breathing. Take another breath here, in and out. And then bring that right hand back onto the mat. And lift yourself onto both hands. And we're going to bring the right knee on the mat. And we go back into child's pose. If you want, you could now bring arms down next to your legs. And just take a few breaths here, in and out. Trying to soften the neck, the shoulders. See how your hips feel, how your legs, your feet feel. If there's any cramping in the feet, you can always tuck the toes under if that feels better. Take another breath in and out. And then slowly bring yourself back onto all fours. And we're going to go into that thread the needle on the other side. So now extend your left leg out to the left side of the mat again. You could rock a bit forward and back, just finding where it's okay for that left leg. Make sure there's no pain in the knee, no pain in the hip joint. And then leave left hand on the mat. And as you inhale, twist out to the right. As you exhale, slide your right arm under the left arm so you can lean the right shoulder, head down. And then if you want, you can bring left arm behind the back, behind the pelvis. Actively now twisting out to the left. Rolling that left shoulder back. Breathing in and out. Focus on your breaths. Send your breaths to those areas that need that help from the breath most. Take one more breath in and out here. And then bring your left hand back onto the mat. Lift yourself onto two hands. Bring both knees onto the mat. And then if it's okay for your knees and ankles, cross your ankles, your shins, and sit over your ankles into a seated pose. And bring legs into butterfly. Bring soles of the feet together. And we're going to go into a forward bend from here. So you could start with hands around the feet or ankles. And as you inhale, just lengthen your back like you're reaching head away from the tail. Exhale, tilt forward from the pelvis. Try to keep the back straight and then pause there. Once you've found your limit, inhale again, reaching head away from the tail. Exhale, round your back. So now moving into that full forward bend. And you could keep your hands around the feet. You could walk your hands further forward along the mat. And then focus on your breaths. You can visualize each breath as a wave going through the spine. In breath, moving towards the lower back, wave going through the back. Exhale, maybe leaning just a bit further into that forward bend. Couple more breaths in and out. With the exhalations moving just a bit further. Take another breath in and out. And then as you inhale, lift your back all the way up. Open your chest. You can roll the shoulders. You can help with your hands to close the hips. If you are at the back of the mat, like I am now, just walk your pelvis a bit further forward so that you have space behind you to then roll your back down. Bring yourself all the way down onto the back. Leave your feet on the mat. We go into bridge pose. So now find a place for your feet where you feel you can press down. Arms down next to your sides. Inhale. As you exhale, focus on pressing down through the feet, lifting your pelvis, then lifting your back off the mat. You might still adjust your feet so you find that strong place where you feel again. You can lift that support through the arches of the feet into your inner thighs, into your pelvis. Feel the base of your big toe, base of your little toe, your heel, pressing down, that triangle of each foot, pressing down. You might walk your shoulder blades closer together. Maybe press down through the backs of the arms, shoulders. Inner thighs magnetize towards each other. They're not touching, but imagine there's a force between them so we don't let the legs flop out to the sides. Feeling that support coming through the floor, through the feet, into your legs, into your spine. And breathing in and out. Take another 2 breaths in your bridge. And then exhale slowly. Release the back. Release the pelvis down. And you could swing the legs a bit from side to side. Walk the shoulder blades again away from each other. we're going to bring both knees towards the left side of the mat. Leave space between your legs, between the knees. If you want, you could bring arms overhead, so it's something between a reclining deer and a reclining twist. If you want, you could bring your left foot, left ankle onto the right thigh to gently weigh the right leg down. Make sure there's no pain in the knee. Breathe a couple more times in and out. And then release the left foot down. Bring your legs back to center. And then gently bring your both knees to the right side of the mat. So again, keeping legs wider apart. So it's something between a twist and a reclining deer. If you want, you can bring your right foot onto the left thigh. Not pushing onto the knee, but more onto the thigh. Ankles could be flexed if that helps your knees. Take a couple of breaths in and out, softening with exhalations. And then slowly release the right foot down. Bring your legs back to center. And we'll go into happy baby. So bring your knees towards your armpits. And then reach hands for your feet or ankles. But if possible, reach hands to your feet. You could hold the inside or outside of the feet. And we're going to lift the feet up towards the ceiling. If that starts to hurt in the legs, you can always bring the feet back in closer together. If it feels okay to lift the feet up, we're going to go into that full happy baby. And now if your hands are around the feet, see if you could give your feet a gentle massage, kind of pressing your fingers onto your feet. You could go to the to the balls of the feet, and then run your hands down to the arch of the foot. You might find some sore spots there. You might even go into the heel, kind of giving your feet a gentle massage. If you find a sore spot, you could pause there and just apply some pressure, pressing onto that trigger point. Take another breath or two in and out. And then after those couple of breaths, start to release your happy baby. Bring your feet down and then find your Shavasana pose. If it feels good to be on your back, you can stay on your back, but you can also choose to lie down on your belly if that feels better. Just find an easy place. You could rest hands on your body, or you could bring hands, arms onto the floor, onto the mat. You can close your eyes if that feels okay for you now. And then bring your full awareness back to your breath. Soften your neck. Soften your shoulders. Soften your arms, your hands, and all the fingers. Soften your chest, your belly. Soften your back. Soften your pelvis and both hips. Soften your thighs, your knees. Soften your ankles, your feet, and all the toes. Breathe in and out. With each breath out, let yourself give some more weight onto the mat, onto the floor. Allow your whole body to become just a bit heavier. Give yourself another few breaths in and out in your resting pose. You might let out a few sighs, exhale through the mouth. And then if you'd like to extend this Shavasana pose, you can stay here as long as you want. If you now feel that you'd be ready to slowly wake up your body, bring some gentle movement to your fingers, your toes, your hands and your feet. You could lengthen arms overhead along the floor and just gently stretch the whole body long from hands down to the feet. If you had your eyes closed, you can open your eyes. And then slowly, in your own time, roll down onto one side and bring yourself up into a seat. Into your own easy seat. Could be same pose or a similar pose as you had in the very beginning, if that feels good. As always, if it's a part of your practice, you can bring palms together in front of the chest. At the end of the practice, most importantly, thank yourself for taking some time to move, to breathe, to check in with yourself today. And I thank you very much for joining in, for sharing this practice and sharing this time together. Namaste. Thank you.